Welcome to Resource PNG. Joint venture partners in the development of the Elk-Antelope project this week witnessed another milestone, the flaring of Antelope 5 well in Gulf Province. Prime Minister Peter O'Neill was present to witness this occasion. Here is a look at the proceedings. The national government is committed to ensuring that the Elk-Antelope gas project gets off the ground. Prime Minister Peter O'Neill has given this assurance following a tour of the Antelope gas fields this week. He was present to witness the flaring of Antelope 5 gas well, which is part of a field appraisal. Prime Minister O'Neill was joined by heads of all the major joint venture partners in the development of this project: Interoil, Oil Search and Total. Prime Minister O'Neill was impressed with the progress so far in developing this project and assured the parties of his government's commitment to their success. The visit also provided the opportunity for the Prime Minister to meet employees working at the project site to thank them for their efforts in getting the project to this stage.
We are pleased to be here because this is an important project for our country and our people. And we want to express our strongest possible support that we can extend to the joint venture partners and everyone who's involved in this project. Again, also let me take this opportunity to congratulate all the workers and everybody who is subcontractors and contractors who are associated with this project. Without your support and your hard work, we will never achieve the results that we have achieved today. Again, as I said, it is an important project for the country. We are beginning to be an LNG producing nation through our first project, PNG LNG. Of course, this is our second major project for the country, and we are trying to get this project off the ground as quickly as possible so that we can maximize the opportunities that the LNG market has for us in the global terms. That is why we are here supporting the joint venture partners, and we look forward to working very closely with you. And I thank Total for being the operator of this project and their commitment to come and work and live with our citizens and our people in the process of developing this resource for us. I know that it will bring a lot of opportunities, many not only financial benefits to the nation, but also employment opportunities for all our citizens in the country. And this is something that we would like to develop more, and I know that the joint venture partners will work closely with the government in making sure that our citizens have the maximum possible opportunity in the resource that we are going to develop in the coming months and years.
Interoil Corporation, who had been at the forefront of this development for a number of years, were pleased with the progress made so far and were hopeful of positive results from drilling currently taking place in other Antelope wells.
We've been fortunate enough to find one of the biggest gas fields in Asia. And it's an honour with this joint venture and the government to be able to work towards creating opportunities for Papua New Guinea associated with this gas field. The status at the moment is Interoil will be transferring operatorship to Total, and then we're in the middle of that transfer at the moment. With the good help of Oil Search and the government, we hope that will be a very seamless transfer. I can tell you we'll be moving into basis of design in the middle of this year, and we'll be moving into feed early next year. We can give you the actual dates on a piece of paper later if you need it. In terms of the concept, well, that's why we do basis of design, and that's why we do feed. Well, we're closing in on that, and we hope to be able to reveal to you over the next 12 months the specifics around the sizes of the pipeline, the numbers of trains, etc., etc.
Moving forward on the appraisal program, that's why we are having the flaring of Antelope 5 today. But we as well are moving on the development studies. And we are on track with what we announced previously, which is that by middle of this year, we'll be telling and we'll be announcing, after having consulted and discussed and agreed with the partners and the authorities of Papua New Guinea, on the different locations where we're going to locate the central processing facility, where we are going to locate the LNG plant. That will happen middle of this year. And with that, and it's important that we have this resolved, we'll be able to move forward on the basis of design and later on the FEED, which are going to be the key engineering studies that we have to perform to be sure that we'll be developing the right plant with the right sizing. And that will take us to 2016. And as well, at the same time we have the different locations selected, we'll be able to move forward on the environmental and societal studies that will help us to secure at the end an environment permit, to secure the landowner's identification and later the development forum and all the necessary arrangements that need to be put in place for us to take final investment decision. So we are moving forward, and we are be announcing the different locations, and then it will open a new set of studies for us to be able to finalize this.
According to the venture partners, the project remains on track with a development concept to be ready by mid this year, to begin early development work in 2016, with contracts for construction to begin as early as 2017. Coming up, MRDC supports PNG Industry Malaria Initiative. That's after the break on Resource PNG. Welcome back to Resource PNG. Malaria continues to be a major health problem in many parts of the country. The PNG Industry Malaria Initiative has been established with the aim of eradicating this disease and has set out an ambitious target to eradicate malaria in PNG by 2050. Mineral Resource Development Company has thrown its support behind PIMI. Yvonne Kambibel with this report.
Mineral Resources Development Company (MRDC) has made a commitment of 100,000 kina to assist the PNG Industry Malaria Initiative. This commitment by MRDC will assist the work of PIMI in providing ongoing technical advice and direction for malaria control programs for resource project impacted communities. MRDC's support was presented by its Managing Director, Augustine Mano. Oil Search's Community and External Affairs General Manager, Willie Kupo, received MRDC's support.
Malaria is prevalent in all of Papua New Guinea, and most of our beneficiaries, they live in areas where it's malaria infested, and we have to support something which is proven and it has achieved the result. Like one of the areas they've said is in Heights, and using that experience and the skills, I think we can do very well with the other areas of malaria where malaria is prevalent, and also in other parts of the country. That's why MRDC is supporting, because it's a worldwide cause.
PIMI, globally recognized as a unique initiative, was started by Oil Search through its Health Foundation's OSHF. It was established with the aim of mobilizing PNG's world-class energy, mining and agribusiness sectors to support the goal of achieving PNG-wide malaria elimination by 2050 through industry collaboration.
PIMI was born from industry, and that's what makes it so unique, both globally and specifically Papua New Guinea, in that it's a unique initiative that was started by Oil Search Health Foundation and the PNG Chamber of Mines and Petroleum, that decided that something had to be done to drag the private sector into doing something to enhance, to accelerate the malaria control program, and hence PIMI was born. And PIMI is as I say, is an industry initiative, and is funded by the industry itself, and a grant from the Australian government, and in-kind support from the Oil Search Health Foundation in terms of accommodation and other logistic support. And now we have another sponsor, donor coming into that field from your side. So, and we really want to assure you that we appreciate that. And it gives us this ability to expand our ideas of public-private partnerships to accelerate the National Malaria Control Program. We have the backing of the government, which I think is a huge fillip for us. We interact with them a lot in terms of facilitating their training for the private sector clinics. We have their support in endorsing the programs that we want to implement into these areas. We have 4 programs running at the moment in numerous 4 different provinces in Papua New Guinea, covering the broad spectrum of mining, petroleum and agribusiness. We're looking at expanding that in 2015.
The PIMI initiative is supported by the National Department of Health. Project Director for PIMI, Steve Knowles, is confident that the eradication of malaria by 2050 is achievable, as PIMI is a well-established initiative with a lot of very supportive partners.
One of the things PIMI wants to do is build the capacity within malaria management as well. Not only the academics with the knowledge, but actual people on the ground that are able to formulate and implement malaria control programs for the people, eliminate the mosquitoes, eliminate the parasite by actively reducing them, the populations. So yes, we can do it. We just need, and as you saw, we're now getting the money. So we have the PIMI has the ability to do that as well, and so does the government. You know? And the more money that comes in from donor funding, the more we can use to eliminate malaria. It is definitely achievable.
Oil Search's Community and External Affairs General Manager Willie Kupo also emphasized his confidence in PIMI succeeding despite the current low world oil prices as well as other issues.
The current oil price, it is a concern. It does. We are looking at ways of curtailing cost and that sort of stuff, but it will not affect the Health Foundation. It's a commitment made by Oil Search, and they like to see it through. And I don't think it will affect the foundation we're going forward.
Coming up next on Resource PNG, Resource News. That's after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. It's that time again. Let's take a look at what's been making headlines in PNG's resource sector. This week marked 1 year since the start of the production from the PNG LNG project. Operated by ExxonMobil PNG, the project has, to date, produced over 6 million tons of LNG and has delivered 87 cargoes. ExxonMobil PNG Limited Managing Director Andrew Berry said since completing the PNG LNG project ahead of schedule and shipping the first cargo of LNG in May 2014, all facilities have been operating above expectations. The first year of full production has been truly remarkable, with the project facilities operating at high levels of efficiency, well above expectations. The project has also continued its focus on safety, with 7 million production hours worked without a lost time injury. Congratulations to all involved. Moving on, the past week has also seen the closure of Tolokuma Mine. According to mine operator Petromin PNG, the mine had become too expensive to maintain given the low world gold prices coupled with high fuel costs. Employees of the mine have been winding down duties, with the mine expected to cease operations within the next few months. Tolokuma began open pit production in 1995 with underground mining in mid-1997. The mine employed over 600 people. Agriculture Minister Tommy Tomskol says 2 draft legislations on agriculture will create an environment to graduate farmers to help to upskill their agriculture business and streamline governance and partnerships in all tiers of agriculture. Speaking on Talkback Radio this week, Minister Tomskol has said the draft bills, when endorsed by NEC and enacted by Parliament, would provide an overdue overhaul that would address the multiple problems. The minister claims that for too long, the agriculture sector has been fragmented and segmented, yet it presents the most potential to transform the lives of over 7 million people, unlike the non-renewable and extractive industries such as gas, oil and minerals. The 2 proposed legislation bills are for the Agriculture Administration Adjustment (AAA) Act and the Agriculture Investment Act, the AIC. Key government agencies in the energy sector are in discussions to identify best practices for the regulation of oil and gas development in PNG. The dialogue is being facilitated by the United States Embassy in Port Moresby. With the theme identifying best practices for the regulation of oil and gas development in Papua New Guinea, the workshop involves stakeholders within the development of the oil and gas sector. This dialogue will discuss ways in which the different actors can work together to implement PNG's policies and laws and to discuss ways to improve communication and coordination amongst themselves. This is the latest in a series of exchanges led by the U.S. Department of Interior's Bureau of Land Management since 2012 as part of the Energy Governance and Capacity Initiative.
Today, the U.S. Embassy started its 3-day workshop titled Identifying Best Practices for the Regulation of Oil and Gas Development in Papua New Guinea. It was attended by over 30 officials from key agencies, including the National Petroleum Company, the Departments of Petroleum and Energy, Finance, Treasury, National Planning, Lands and Physical Planning, and Justice and Attorney General.
You too have a very important role to play. You all are the stewards of the finances of Papua New Guinea and the stewards of the money that flows into the government. You help regulate sectors that bring in a significant amount of revenue, and you all allow that kind of growth and opportunity to take place.
This workshop is the latest in a series of exchanges led by the U.S. Department of Interior's Bureau of Land Management since 2012 as part of the Energy Governance and Capacity Initiative. The objective is to help PNG manage its oil and gas sector revenues wisely so that it maximizes and sustains natural resource development. Finance Minister James Marape said that as an oil and gas producing country, the topics of best practice, sustainable development, and traditional landowners' benefits were of interest to the government.
As you know, these are resources that is not replaceable. These are resources once extracted is forever gone. And so we must continue to improve and increase the value of what we take today, and whilst developing our country today, have an element of sustainability that goes beyond our generations and into the future.
Participants are eager to learn from the workshop the role of each agency in the sector, inclusive economic growth, the best legal frameworks, training and capacity building, engaging traditional landowners, and converting the energy into tangible benefits, amongst others. At last year's workshop, one of the main challenges identified was the interaction between the various agencies within the energy sector. This 3-day workshop hopes to address some of these specific challenges.
Moving on, and the National Executive Council has revoked the appointment of Mr. Wasantha Kumarasiri as Managing Director of IPBC and appointed Mr. Gary Hersey as the new Managing Director. Mr. Hersey will lead the implementation of the SOE policy decision as per the approval of the SOE policy paper. Mr. Hersey has experience in the corporate and finance restructures of enterprises and will take the lead in restructuring the IPBC and the SOEs towards the Kumul agenda. Public Enterprise and State Investment Minister Ben Maika, in welcoming Mr. Hersey to his new role, also thanked Mr. Kumarasiri for his work in the IPBC in bringing in some coordination and cohesiveness within the SOEs. Minister Maika says the government believes it is now time to go to the next step and to bring the appropriate person to lead these major reforms in state investments and commercial activities in which the state will take part in. A new look board has been announced for state-owned electricity provider PNG Power Limited. Among the new members to the board is former Digicel PNG CEO John Mangos, who assumes the role of Executive Director. Mr. Mangos will assist PPL Executive Management in its executive duties and responsibilities by providing a mentorship role to bring in modern management practices, working together with the board. And that ends Resource News for this week and also brings us to the end of this episode of Resource PNG. If you want to contribute to this program, get in touch with us via email on resourcepng@emtv.com.pg. To view this edition again, log on to www.mtv.com.pg, where you will find a link to the Resource PNG page. You can also find us on Facebook. Until the next time, pleasant viewing.